Good evening, I'm Jodie McKay with NBN's Late Edition News. Tonight, Michael Knight set to exit stage left after the best Olympics ever. Doctors push ethical boundaries again, creating a designer baby in America. And a new finding in the cause of Phar Lap's death. But first tonight, hard on the heels of Sunday's closing ceremony and yesterday's parade through Sydney, Olympics Minister Michael Knight today announced his resignation from politics, taking many of his colleagues by surprise. Mr Knight also took the opportunity to try to justify why he robbed so-called colleague Sandy Holloway of the top international Olympic honour.
Making the Sydney Olympics happen was an enormous job, and the minister was ruthless in his pursuit of success. Now it's over, and so is life in politics.
After the Olympic Games, what else would I do in public life?
He claims he made the decision with his wife Anne while on holidays in January.
We decided that on the first day after the athletes' parade, I would communicate with you the decision we made then.
Knight will formally quit state parliament in January. The Olympic and Paralympic organisations should all be wound up by then.
It's time now that we have some family time together for each other and for our kids.
The 48-year-old's now planning a corporate business career, having collected some healthy contacts among Olympic sponsors. During his 5 years as Olympics minister and 4 also as so-called president, he certainly claimed victims, including Phil Coles, Sandy Holloway and so-called executives Mal Hemmerling and Paul Reading. The rocky, controversial road continued today. Mr Knight unrepentant at blocking Mr Holloway's IOC Gold Medal of Service.
Mr Holloway, on my recommendation, got a silver award, which I thought was appropriate. I could not, in all good conscience, find a reason to elevate him.
Mr Holloway, however, gave a generous, prepared statement over Mr Knight's resignation.
I really wish him well for the future. His contribution should be recognised.
Powerful allies like John Coates believe he's picked the right time to go.
He has managed Australia's biggest peacetime project, and there'll be a bright career for him.
Premier Bob Carr was less than gushing, though.
Michael Knight, whether you like him or dislike him, Michael Knight delivered.
For months, Michael Knight has privately claimed not to have cared what people thought about him. And now, in context, we probably know why.
Michael Knight says his future lies in the corporate world, but as he says goodbye to his political career, few workers and colleagues seem prepared to give him a reference.
Usually when politicians resign or die, no one has a bad word, but then this was Michael Knight.
What I think he did to Sandy Holloway was very mean-spirited. So, sayonara.
From Olympics volunteers to politicians.
His career throughout has been characterised by switching allegiances and a lack of loyalty.
Few others on their retirement would be hurled so many daggers amongst the bouquets. Even the Premier, only informed by Mr Knight this morning of the decision, was less than gushing in his praise.
I'm reluctant to lose him, and I think Michael Knight has got a lot to contribute.
As for his people skills, was he a good person? The Premier searched for the positive.
Michael Knight, whether you like him or dislike him, Michael Knight delivered.
Sandy Holloway, though, may not agree, the last to feel the minister's deft touch when he stopped the so-called chief from receiving the IOC's top honour. This morning, caught by surprise over the news.
I haven't heard any of this.
I'll
let you know later, mate.
Later, still no bitterness, just a generous, prepared statement.
I really wish him well for the future. His contribution should be recognised.
That's certainly the view of the minister's close ally, John Coates, who believes Mr Knight picked the right time to go.
He will do very well in the private sector. He has managed Australia's biggest peacetime project, and there'll be a bright career for him.
But even in his safe seat of Campbelltown, the tributes were double-edged. One comment perhaps summing up his volatile political life.
He doesn't live here anymore anyway, so we're not going to miss him, but he's done a good job.
A shocking crash in the state's northwest has claimed the lives of 3 people. 2 trucks collided head-on near Narrabri late yesterday. The victims incinerated when the vehicles burst into flames.
The charred wreckage of the truck and prime mover, stark evidence of the horrific nature of the fatal accident. The truck was travelling south on the Newell Highway when it collided head-on with the prime mover late yesterday. The vehicles burst into flames, trapping both drivers and a passenger. Police and fire crews had no chance of saving them.
Fire consumed both vehicles and completely damaged them.
The triple fatal forced the closure of the highway as emergency crews began the massive clean-up operation. An investigation is now underway. It's believed driver fatigue may have been a major factor in the accident. It's thought the 3 victims were all in their early 20s.
The wreckage of a helicopter which disappeared in Victoria a week ago has been discovered in a forest in the northeast of that state. A crew member from an RAAF helicopter was winched down to the site and confirmed that both men on board were dead. There are ominous signs firefighters across the state are in for a horror season. More than 350 serious fires have already destroyed 250,000 hectares of land in the last month alone. 300 firefighters are still battling several blazes in northern New South Wales after spending the last 24 hours on the fire front.
The entire eastern escarpment stretching from the northern tablelands to the mid-north coast is shrouded in smoke. The haze so dense that traffic was diverted from Armidale Airport at one stage this morning. 2 main fires, both burning northeast of Walker, at Sells River and Kundareng, are the cause of that smoke. The worst of those is the Kundareng blaze, extending from the Werrinkimby National Park outside of Walker to Oxley Wild Rivers National Park at the foothills of the Gorge Country east of Armidale.
Certainly the Kundareng fire is by far the biggest, and it covers an area of about 30,000 hectares. And we have the other fire sort of east of Walker, which is about 1,500 hectares.
Last night, 20 tankers and 100 volunteers arrived from Sydney and the Central Coast to battle the blaze. They're rostered on around the clock for a 72-hour period.
Overnight, firefighters carried out a massive backburn covering a 30-kilometre front. The Royal Fire Service is now confident if weather conditions remain the same, they will be able to contain the fire.
Meantime, 25 tankers have been deployed to the Red Rock Fire, 50 kilometres northeast of Tenterfield. That blaze has claimed 30,000 hectares of bushland, but has been contained on all sides but the northern flank. Tonight's firefighting effort will be concentrated there. Dale Thompson, NBN News, late edition.
Medical scientists are again pushing ethical boundaries in the latest case of gene technology. In a world first, American doctors have helped a couple create a designer baby whose embryo was chosen for his genes to save their young daughter who's facing death without a bone marrow transplant.
Some babies by chance have life-saving matches of bone marrow cells which help their 6 siblings, but baby Adam was designed deliberately to save his 6-year-old sister. Molly Nash has a rare disease which destroys her bone marrow and cripples her immune system.
The Nash family was guaranteed not only a healthy baby boy free of this genetic disease that runs in that family, but also a perfect stem cell donor for purposes of transplantation.
Using IVF technology, 15 embryos were created, then genetically screened to make sure they were free of the disease. The one viable embryo with cells identical to Molly, the one embryo that could save her life, became baby Adam. Blood cells were taken from his umbilical cord within hours of his birth and were transplanted into Molly. Without this, she would certainly have died. Molly's parents freely admit they only wanted a child if it was a perfect match.
We were going to try and have a child that could also help Molly.
Already doctors predict the technique will help childhood cancers and those with sickle cell anemia where bone marrow transplants are also needed, but that's not appeasing opponents.
We can easily see this quickly becoming like deciding which options you want on a new car.
Doctors say they should know within a few weeks whether Molly's life is out of danger.
Ahead in NBN's late edition news, One Nation's Pauline Hanson and David Oldfield divorce after a rocky political marriage, and the truth behind Phar Lap's death.
Hello again, here are tonight's lotto results. We had 3 winners of First Division who will each collect over $200,000. Lotto Strike was not won and will jackpot on Monday. Good night.
What has free air, 2.5 litre turbo diesel power and four-wheel drive muscle. It's the Mazda Bravo cab chassis. At 24,310 with free air, you're a winner.
Don't miss Fantastic Furniture's 10th birthday celebrations. Funny contemporary 5-piece dining, $3.99. Paris modular with comfortable cushions, just $7.99. Dining suite, $3.99. Modular, $7.99. At a Fantastic Furniture store near you.
At Woolworths, we're bringing you the best value every day. Continental pasta and sauce, only 99 cents. Save 58 cents. And International Roast Coffee bonus pack, just $9.99 each. Look for Woolworths' best value catalogue out now.
With its raw, emotive power, its heart-rending tenderness, and its monumental staging, Les Miserables is the ultimate theatre experience. Now, Les Miserables comes to the Civic Theatre in Newcastle. A price preview on sale now.
You want to tow some big stuff like caravans or horse loads? At ISP, you got it. You want Heyman Reese hitches? At ISP, you got it. One prices like tow mirrors, $9.95. Heyman brake controllers, $189 fitted. You want it, you got it. At ISP, Islington and Glendale.
No, he's not changing TV channels. He's driving probably the most advanced four-wheel drive system this country has ever seen. It lets you choose the perfect driving mode for any situation with the flick of a switch. So if you own a different one, you'll probably feel like switching. Nissan Pathfinder. The four-wheel drive has changed forever.
We're going to try and make you rich. It's easy. In your letterbox this weekend, find a card just like this. Watch the show listed on your card. And you could share in a total of $1 million cash. And it all must be won. Your first chance is just before the news at 6 o'clock Monday night.
The $25 recreational fishing fee announced yesterday won't stretch up to the Queensland border. Tweed anglers will pay half that amount to allow for holiday fishermen from Queensland, where their sport is free.
The Tweed is the only region in the state receiving the 50% concession, with licence fees ranging from $2.50 for 3 days to $70 for 3 years for recreational anglers.
The concession came about through various meetings with the community and stakeholders in the Tweed, and the intention there is not to disadvantage those Queenslanders that are coming in and holidaying in the Tweed.
If the Queensland government adopts a similar fee-paying system for recreational anglers, the concession on the Tweed will be dropped. The new fees are designed to protect fish stocks and habitats across the state and ensure the resource will be sustainable for the future. It will create an extra $12 million for the state government, which it says will be injected back into the local recreational fishing market.
Good recreational fishing will attract tourism, will attract economic activity, and hopefully it will provide much-needed jobs.
The new fees are to be introduced in legislation in the upcoming parliamentary session. Evan Wilkes, NBN News, late edition.
Pauline Hanson has sacked One Nation Party MP David Oldfield, but he won't go. She says he can't be trusted and has written to her former advisor telling him he's no longer welcome in the party. The split came to a head after a fracas at One Nation's Manly headquarters yesterday. Each is claiming the other locked them out.
David has to realise, get out of the sandpit, stop putting on his tantrums and his acts. He's out of the party, the umpire's decision is final.
But Mr Oldfield says Ms Hanson is irrational and that she can't kick him out. Overseas, both Al Gore and George Bush have come through round one in the presidential debates with a few scars, most polls scoring Gore the winner, but not by much. With the election countdown shaping as one of the tightest in memory, both are now looking to score a big hit in the next two encounters.
With opinion polls showing the race dead even, the candidates went for each other's throats on tax cuts, abortion, defence, and especially health care for the elderly.
There, he said all poor seniors.
No, wait a minute. All seniors are covered under prescription drugs in my plan.
In the first year?
If we can get it done in the first year, you bet. Yours is phased in 8 years.
No. Gore has a reputation as a political head kicker. Bush as a nice guy. Tonight, roles reversed.
I'm beginning to think not only did he invent the internet, but he invented the calculator. It's fuzzy math.
Well, I think we ought to attack our country's problems, not attack each other.
Gore distanced himself from Bill Clinton.
So I stand here as my own man.
Bush tried to prove he had substance, losing focus only once.
Well, I've been standing up to big Hollywood, big trial lawyers. What was the question?
Opinion polls conducted straight after the debate favoured Gore as the winner by a narrow margin. But analysts said Bush proved he could match it with his more experienced opponent.
I think Bush exceeded expectations in this debate.
The pressure now heightened for the two remaining debates later this month.
Israeli and Palestinian leaders are in Paris tonight for crisis talks aimed at ending clashes, which have left at least 58 people dead. United States Secretary of State Madeleine Albright is holding separate talks with Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak and Palestinian Chairman Yasser Arafat.
Even talk of a temporary halt to hostilities now seems a remote possibility as Palestinians line up against the Israeli military for the 6th day running. The violence has now claimed the lives of at least 58 people, leaving no room for compromise between the Israeli settlers and the Palestinian protesters on the tense streets of the West Bank. 19-year-old Mohammed Sorki was one of 2 youths killed early this morning. His funeral only served to underline how difficult it will be to find any middle ground. Israeli soldiers are accused of using excessive force in response to the violence, but insist they're only defending their communities from the stone-throwing mobs. Against this bleak backdrop, Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat arrived for talks in Paris, warning against any chance of rapid progress. He's demanding both protection for his people and the promise of an international investigation into the causes of the recent trouble before he'll consider meeting with the Israelis face-to-face. But US Secretary of State Madeleine Albright appeared undeterred as she welcomed Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak in the first of a series of meetings, which the United Nations still hopes may break the impasse.
I would hope at the end of the day we would at least be able to come to some understanding on stopping the violence, to calm the situation. I think that is the most urgent task now.
Yet more conflict this morning near Ramallah on the West Bank makes that a forlorn hope. But as the crisis in the Middle East deepens, world leaders seem determined to do everything possible to end the bloodshed.
In other overseas news, authorities in Yugoslavia have begun a crackdown on so-called subversive elements by arresting protest organisers and union leaders. It comes after another day of rallies and strikes aimed at forcing President Slobodan Milosevic to stand down, while police blocked thousands of demonstrators from marching on his home. And Mark Chapman, the man who killed John Lennon, will not be released from jail for now. A parole board panel today rejected his application for freedom, saying to do so would undermine the law, but he will be eligible to apply again in 2 years. Chapman is serving a life sentence for shooting Lennon outside his New York apartment in 1980. Good news for homeowners. The Reserve Bank has decided against lifting interest rates, but some economists are convinced that a rise soon is inevitable because of pressure from inflation.
We aren't out of the woods, and another 25 basis point increase does look possible by the end of the year or early next year.
The market has not reacted well to the news. The Australian dollar hitting a record low of 53.37 US cents before recovering to 53.56. The dollar was also sharply down against the other majors, steady against the Kiwi. More losses on the stock exchange. The All Ords down 8.8. News Corp lost 42 cents, Lendlease 37. AMP gained 28. Well, from the forest floor to homes across the world, a furniture maker in the Lower Hunter is enjoying a strong demand for his product, turning dead wood into works of art.
10 years ago, Stephen Wright took a gamble. He moved to East Gresford, where collecting firewood sparked something much more rewarding.
Just sort of noticed there are all plenty of dead trees around. The farmers only call them firewood or rubbish.
He uses the wood from already fallen trees to hand-make unique furniture. Often his supplies are sold to him by private property owners, but there are also some rare finds. He works with more than 20 species, including red cedar and ironbark.
sort of got to look in the right place to start with. If you're sort of looking down in a gully or something, you're probably already looking at trees that a logger's already passed up because they were faulty in some way.
But these are more than just practical pieces. If his work looks good in someone's home, he sells more. Passing trade also makes up a large percentage of his business, and even international visitors are now seeing the value of this style of furniture.
A bit of wood, you can have it for 100 years and no one would know if it's 100-year-old or whether it was made today. So it's sort of, people are waking up like to what's good and what's bad.
Brooke Webster, NBN News, late edition.
For almost 70 years, it's been convenient to blame the Americans for the seemingly sinister death of champion racehorse Phar Lap. But the great mystery appears to have been solved. With new claims, Phar Lap died of natural causes and not poison.
The timing couldn't have been more ironic. The truth behind Phar Lap's death made public on his birthday. 74 years ago, this legend was born. His achievements remain awe-inspiring.
It's all over. Phar Lap wins.
His sudden death in the United States sparked not only an outpouring of national grief, but decades of debate. Now it seems the Americans are off the hook. Big Red wasn't poisoned. An extensive post-mortem, albeit 68 years after the event, has concluded that Phar Lap died of natural causes.
It's an enterotoxemia, which is a poisoning. The poison comes from the bacteria inside the bowel. They produce a toxin, which then affects the bowel. The horse goes into acute shock and dies.
Sadly, Tommy Woodcock went to his grave believing he might have accidentally contributed to his mate's death. At last, Tommy can rest in peace.
Tommy and all the crew that were travelling with him at the time were can be completely absolved.
This book also provides a new theory surrounding the attempt on Phar Lap's life just days before his 1930 Melbourne Cup win.
We think there's pretty strong evidence that it was a publicity stunt put together by some journalists who were sick of the Phar Lap hysteria.
A month after his midnight dash through the city, Phar Lap's new home is Melbourne's new museum, enclosed in a climate-controlled case in full view of his memorabilia. The Phar Lap exhibition is housed alongside hundreds of other Australian icons, all of which go on show to the public when stage one of the museum opens in just over a fortnight.
Coming up in our late edition News All the Day Sport, including a hero's welcome for the Games' overseas athletes. And Sydney gearing up to do it all again for the Paralympics.
Spring is in the air, and Home has lots of bargains in their spring sale, plus the launch of our exciting new magazine, Home Life, and a chance to win a limited edition Honda Accord V6. Look for details in store or in the spring dog-along. So if you... Hey, cut! In Home Spring Dog-along, out now.
The Nissan Maxima now comes with more power, more room, more luxury. And it's more affordable than most luxury cars. Maxima from just $36,490. Now at your Nissan dealer. Just wait till you drive it. There are a lot of stores who claim they can sell you a better bargain than Target. But before Target ever sell you a bargain, we try and stretch it, and shrink it, fade it, crack it, and break it. And then, and only then, are we prepared to sell it to you, with a full money-back guarantee. Target quality control. Now that's what we call a bargain.
How are your flybys going?
Better than ever. Now if you spend $1,000 with Travelland, you get 1,000 flybys bonus points.
You get 1,000 flybys bonus points?
Yes, they're called Travelland 132002.
The only place to go for your holidays.
Moonshadow cruising.
If you haven't been dolphin or whale watching or to fabulous Broughton Island, then here's your chance. Moonshadow Cruises can offer you, your friends or your company the ultimate way to see beautiful Port Stephens and now Newcastle Harbour. This includes our fantastic twilight dinner cruises with live entertainment. So if you want a guaranteed great time, call Moonshadow Cruises. Don't miss the boat.
Oh, the Moonshadow.
7:30 Thursday. Getaway sweeps you across one of the most charming countries in the
They have
world.
their coffee, they have their pizza, and they have this real generosity.
Italy, home of everything cosmopolitan.
Bellissimo.
Viva Italia, a getaway special on NBN.
Well, don't pack away those Australian flags just yet. The Paralympic Games are next on the blocks. 2 weeks from tonight, 4,000 athletes from 125 countries will be in Sydney for the opening ceremony.
Sydney might be suffering the post-Olympic blues, but not for long. In just 2 weeks, we'll be doing it all again.
We've had the best test event we could have ever had, but the party is anything from over.
Today fortnight, 4,000 athletes from 125 countries will converge on Sydney for the opening ceremony of the 11th Paralympic Games.
I think the key here is that you ain't seen nothing yet.
And while our Aussie team isn't making any medal predictions, team officials are quietly confident our 278 athletes will match, if not beat, their Atlanta haul of 106 medals, where they finished a close second to America.
I can assure you that they will tough it out and they'll be the best competitors ever.
And despite a slow start in ticket sales, organisers say the target set in Atlanta has already been smashed, with more than 607,000 tickets sold.
I'm so pleased to be able to tell you that we have just about sold out all the tickets for the opening ceremony.
And as for the Paralympic torch relay, it gets underway in Canberra tomorrow, visiting every capital city before reaching Sydney for the lighting of the cauldron.
Australians are turning out in their thousands to congratulate our Olympic heroes in honorary parades around the country. But we're not the only ones who know how to give a hero's welcome, as thousands of overseas competitors discovered when they arrived home.
China's team touched down to thousands lining the tarmac at Beijing Airport. The arrival much warmer than the departure, when 27 athletes were axed from the team before the Olympics for failing drug tests. Despite that, they won 59 medals to finish third on the tally. President Jiang Zemin hosting a party to celebrate China's finest Olympic performance. Even more mayhem in Amsterdam. Plenty of the crowd clad in orange to hail the winners of 25 medals, 12 of them gold, making this the Netherlands' most successful Olympic team. The Dutch darlings, swimming stars Peter van den Hoogenband and Inge de Bruin.
It's just awesome, you know, there's just one word for that, it's just awesome. I've never seen so many people at the airport in my life.
From Atlanta 4 years ago, Britain's team brought home just one gold medal. In Sydney, they won 11, their best tally since 1920. After 5 Olympics and 5 gold medals, 38-year-old rower Stephen Redgrave refuses to rule out competing at Athens in 4 years' time.
I'm actually racing in a couple of weeks' time, in 10 days' time actually, and see how that goes, and I'll see how I feel after that.
Well, the Olympic Games and its aftermath still hold centre stage in Australia, but the sporting spotlight has briefly swung onto athletes of the past. Enthusiastic bidders put their hands up for a piece of sporting history at an auction of memorabilia in Melbourne tonight.
In the afterglow of the Olympics, it's a marathon task deciding just how much you're prepared to pay for your own piece of sporting history.
Lots of interesting cricket, but Olympics is also interesting, but be out of my price league, I think.
And that's what they all say, and those who come here to buy would tell you the same thing.
Bidders bask amidst the glory of some of the world's greatest sporting tales, from boxer Lionel Rose's championship win to the legendary triumphs of Muhammad Ali. Tonight, hands are raised and limits are reached, seeking to knock opponents from the ring. And competition's particularly fierce for cricketing fame. Sir Garfield Sober's record-breaking bats making history again, sending the bidding for 6.
Bids on the telephone here with Richard at 110,000 against you all for 110,000. You sure for 110,000 now? 110,000 is yours.
But it's the draw of the games that's made this auction a guaranteed medal event.
We've seen Nick Minter's 1924 gold medal sold for well above the high estimate, for about 12,000.
It seems there's little concern for how old an item is, rather the great story behind it. This auction, like any, driven by emotion. And if you missed out, there'll be more sporting memorabilia up for grabs next year. Kathy Freeman's 1997 running suit expected to fetch a mighty offer.
Surfing greats from all over the world have gathered in France for the Masters Championship on the Basque Coast. Six-time world champion Kelly Slater headed an expression session, which also featured Australian legends Wayne Bartholomew, Tommy Carroll, Barton Lynch and Mark Richards. Richards showed he'd lost none of his trademark style, winning his first round heat in the 2-metre swell, while Bartholomew scored the highest total in his division. The contest finishes on Sunday. To the weather, and as expected, conditions remain dry, but there is the hope of rain late in the weekend and possibly into next week. A high-pressure system dominates conditions, and the next change appears likely Sunday in the south and Monday in the north. Falls of 20 to 30 millimetres are possible, with the showers and thunderstorms likely to continue until Tuesday. A fine day for the northwest slopes and plains and the northern tablelands tomorrow. 31 degrees in Moree, 28 in Tamworth, 27 for Inverell and 24 degrees in Armidale. Another fine day for the northern rivers and the mid-north coast, around 25 to 28 degrees in the north, around 24 to 27 degrees for the mid-north coast. And fine for the Hunter and the central coast after a cool morning, 26 degrees for Newcastle, 27 in Gosford and 28 for the Valley. Up next, an unexpected glamorous visitor sails into Newcastle.
We've shared in their surprises, laughed with their smiles, been inspired by their lives. Who'll be next? This is Your Life, 8:30 Thursday.
What has free air, 2.5-litre turbo diesel power and 4-wheel drive muscle? It's the Mazda Bravo cab chassis. At 24,310 with free air, you're a winner.
There are a lot of stores who claim they can sell you a better bargain than Target. But before Target ever sell you a bargain, we try and stretch it and shrink it, fade it, crack it and break it. And then, and only then, are we prepared to sell it to you with a full money-back guarantee. Target quality control. Now that's what we call a bargain.
Hey, no peeking.
I just can't wait until it's unveiled for all the world to see.
Be a big day that day, eh?
Coo-wee.
Exactly.
It's coming, and it's yours.
Take a close look at a Newcastle permanent home loan at 6.85% per annum, no fees. Residential investment loans, 6.85%, no fees. Refinancing your mortgage from another lender, 6.85%, no fees. That's a 1% discount for 12 months on our current standard variable rate, with no application fee, no valuation fee, and no society legal fees. Phone 131 987, 131 987, or call into any branch of Newcastle Permanent.
And you could be the winner. Yes, it's a great $50,000 giveaway, and it's happening now at Cardiff Toyota and Newcastle Mazda. On now.
On RPA, young Sarah gets the shock of her life.
Burnt a hand and sent her across the room.
Why doctors must remove Joyce's stomach.
It's a big operation.
And the amazing surgery to reconstruct a new one. RPA, Thursday on NBN.
Finally tonight, a glimpse of how the other half lives. Mechanical problems forced an unscheduled stopover in Newcastle today for a $10 million luxury vessel.
At 34 metres long, the super yacht Sequel is capable of cruising the world in comfort and style. But after serving as a floating motel for its American owners during the Olympics, it hit a snag last night off the coast of Newcastle.
A day out of Sydney, our steering went, and it's all hydraulic. I'm meant to come into Newcastle to effect repairs, and doing now.
While the repairman does his thing, the crew of 4 can relax in the well-appointed stateroom, complete with its widescreen TV, or recline in one of the double guest cabins. But for a really good night's sleep, you'd head for the palatial owner's quarters, complete with its own big screen. The vessel's retired owners will join the crew again at the Barrier Reef and will take 2 years to sail home.
We've done sort of Europe, America, Pacific, now New Zealand, and we're finishing Australia around the top, through Asia, etc., etc.
Sequel's 43-metre mast stands 13 metres higher than Newcastle's Stockton Bridge. Skipper Peter Verdon admits he has a great job.
My wife's with me, and we have a couple of more crew, and we travel the world at someone else's expense.
Paul Lobb, NBN News, late edition.
It's like a great job, particularly if you're not paying. That's NBN's late edition news. Our next bulletin is the early news, and it's tomorrow morning at 6 from all of us here, though it's good night, and thanks for being with us.